if I told you that every single Lamborghini driving through the streets of Miami, Dubai, or Los Angeles, all 8,000 of them produced each year, comes from one small Italian town where tractors once ruled the land? Welcome to Sant'Agata Bolognese, home to one of the most ambitious automotive transformations in history. In 2018, Lamborghini completed a $500 million expansion that doubled their factory footprint to a staggering 1.7 million square feet. This isn't just any factory. This is where Italian craftsmanship collides with Industry 4.0 technology to build the Urus, the world's first super SUV that redefined what an SUV could be. The impossible challenge. Before 2018, Lamborghini had a problem. For decades, they produced fewer than 3,900 cars annually from their modest 861,000 square foot facility. But then came the Urus concept, a beast that would change everything. The demand was unprecedented. Lamborghini needed to double production to 8,000 vehicles yearly while maintaining the handcrafted quality that made every Lamborghini a rolling masterpiece. The solution? Build a second factory in just 18 months while keeping the existing production lines running at full capacity. Over 3,600 external workers from more than 600 companies descended on Sant'Agata Bolognese. What they created was nothing short of revolutionary. Welcome to Factory 4.0. Step inside the Urus production facility and you immediately notice something's different. There are no traditional assembly lines, no conveyor belts pulling cars in a rigid sequence. Instead, you see something that looks like a choreographed robot dance. Welcome to Manifattura Lamborghini, Lamborghini's flexible manufacturing system that Chief Manufacturing Officer Ranieri Nicoli designed to change automotive production forever. At the heart of this system are automated guided vehicles, or AGVs. These aren't your typical factory robots. These intelligent platforms navigate autonomously between 15 specialized assembly stations, carrying everything from bare chassis to complete powertrains. Here's where it gets fascinating. The same production line that builds a 641 horsepower Urus can seamlessly switch to assembling an 814 horsepower Vi 12 Revuelto without stopping production. The AGVs simply reroute themselves, carrying different components to different stations based on real-time production data. It's manufacturing flexibility that would have been impossible just a decade ago. And here's the kicker. Of the 1,800 employees working at Lamborghini headquarters, 700 of them work exclusively on the Urus line, operating across 3 shifts when demand peaks. Each station has 2 or 3 workers who can adjust their pace because the AGVs adapt to them, not the other way around. The marriage, where power meets precision. Let's talk about the most critical moment in any Lamborghini's life, the marriage. This is where the body meets the soul, where 4,850 pounds of aluminum, carbon fiber, and engineering ambition receives its beating heart, the Urus heart, a 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine producing 641 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque. This power plant can launch the Urus from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.2 seconds, faster than most sports cars, while carrying 5 passengers in Italian leather luxury. But installing this engine isn't like dropping a motor into a regular SUV. Using suspended robotic systems, technicians guide the complete powertrain assembly. Engine, 8-speed automatic transmission, and all-wheel drive components pre-assembled as one massive unit into the chassis with millimeter-level precision. One wrong move, one misaligned mounting point, and you're looking at catastrophic failure at 190 miles per hour. Digital torque wrenches monitor every single bolt. If a mounting bolt deviates by even 0.002 inches, the system flashes red and the entire assembly gets rejected. There's zero tolerance for error when you're building something that will see temperatures exceeding 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit in the exhaust system. The hidden genius, carbon fiber cathedral. Before any Urus reaches the main assembly line, something remarkable happens in a separate facility called Produzione Compositi, the carbon fiber cathedral. This climate-controlled sanctum is where Lamborghini's 40-year obsession with composite materials reaches its peak. Temperature and humidity are monitored more carefully than in a hospital operating room because carbon fiber doesn't forgive mistakes. The air smells sweet and chemical. That's the sin of pre-preg carbon fiber waiting to be transformed into automotive armor. Here's what most people don't know. Lamborghini pioneered a proprietary technology called RTM Lambo in 2007, developed in partnership with the University of Washington. This process uses vacuum, pressure, and heat without traditional autoclaves to create carbon fiber components that are completely void-free. Those voids, they're the typical failure points that can compromise structural integrity at high speed. While the Urus uses a more traditional aluminum and high-strength steel structure to accommodate its SUV requirements, the technology developed here flows throughout the factory. Carbon fiber appears in the Urus interior panels, exterior accents, and even in the optional carbon ceramic brakes that can stop this 4,850-pound beast from 60 miles per hour to 0 in just 108 feet. Wheels, paint, and personalization. After the marriage, the Urus gets its stance, giant 23-inch wheels, standard equipment that would be optional upgrades on most vehicles, are mounted using precision equipment that ensures perfect balance. These aren't just wheels, they're engineered components that must handle the lateral forces of a vehicle that can corner at speeds that defy physics. Then comes the paint shop, and this is where Lamborghini's $500 million investment truly shines. Inaugurated in 2019, this facility is the first in the world to integrate artificial intelligence into automotive painting. Most manufacturers offer maybe 10 standard colors. Lamborghini? Through their ad personam program, they offer virtually unlimited custom colors. Want your Urus painted to match your favorite sunset? They'll do it. Want a 3-stage pearl finish in giallo into yellow with high-gloss black accents? Done. Every color is hand-verified by specialists wearing white gloves. The paint process uses robotic precision to apply multiple layers: base coat, color coat, pearl effect, and clear coat, building up a finish that's measured in microns but judged by the human eye. Over 200 specialists underwent 12 months of training just to work in this paint shop, learning to spot imperfections that most people would never notice. The test track. 13 surfaces of truth. Here's something wild. Lamborghini built a dedicated test track right next to the factory with 13 different surfaces, specifically engineered for SUV testing. Why 13 surfaces? Because the Urus isn't just a pavement princess. It needs to perform on wet cobblestones in Rome, sand dunes in Dubai, snow-covered mountain passes in the Alps, and everything in between. Each surface tests different aspects of the vehicle's dynamic behavior: traction control, stability systems, all-wheel drive torque distribution, and the active rear-wheel steering that makes this 16-foot 9-inch SUV feel nimble through tight corners. Engineers push every Urus through acceleration tests, emergency braking scenarios, and high-speed stability runs. The four-wheel steering system, which turns the rear wheels up to 3 degrees in the opposite direction at low speeds for tighter turns, gets thoroughly validated. The adaptive air suspension, which can raise or lower the vehicle up to 2.7 inches depending on terrain, is tested in every possible configuration, and that's before the vehicle even leaves for public road testing on the streets around Sant'Agata Bolognese, where locals have grown accustomed to seeing camouflaged prototypes thundering past at illegal speeds, all in the name of quality control. Quality control, 1,800 people, one mission. Every morning at the Lamborghini factory starts the same way. The quality coordinator meets with technicians and line managers to review observations from the previous day. Panel alignment, surface finish, component fit, everything gets discussed in forensic detail. When an issue appears more than once, teams don't just fix it, they track it back to its source, whether that's a specific supplier part or a step in the assembly process. This is continuous improvement taken to an almost obsessive level. At dedicated inspection stations throughout the factory, specialists work through strict checklists. Panel gaps are measured in millimeters. Door alignment is checked using laser equipment. Trim fit is examined under bright white lights that reveal every imperfection. The tolerances are so tight that even minor inconsistencies get corrected immediately. Then comes electronic systems validation. Every light, sensor, switch, screen, and control unit is tested individually. The Urus features over several kilometers of wiring running through its body. That's miles of copper connecting everything from the heated steering wheel to the adaptive cruise control system. The final technical validation includes wheel alignment using laser measuring equipment and a dynamometer test. Secured onto rollers, the engine runs through controlled acceleration cycles while engineers monitor power delivery, drivetrain behavior, and system communication. They're not just checking if the car works, they're verifying that it meets the exact performance specifications that Lamborghini promises. The human touch in a digital world. Here's what makes Lamborghini different from every other automaker trying to scale production. They refuse to remove the human element. Yes, they have AGVs and collaborative robots and AI-powered quality control. But at every critical moment, there are human hands, human eyes, and human judgment. In the engine assembly area, master technicians like Giovanni, who has been building Lamborghini powertrains for 22 years, still hand-assemble engines. Not teams of people. One technician, one engine. The Revuelto's V12 engines, producing 814 horsepower, are assembled entirely by one person, from dry sump lubrication to final head gasket sealing. Why? Because Giovanni can feel things that sensors can't detect. He can hear the subtle click of a valve cover torquing down correctly. He knows when the resistance is right. When customers hear that 9,250 revolutions per minute scream, Giovanni wants them to know someone cared, not a machine. Him. The same philosophy applies to interior assembly. Specialists using laser cutters for perfect symmetry still do final stitching by hand on specialized sewing machines. Through the Ad Personam program, customers specify everything: leather color, stitching pattern, carbon fiber finish, Alcantara placement. No two Urus interiors are exactly the same, which means no robot can follow a one-size-fits-all program. This is why it takes approximately 400 hours to complete one Lamborghini, even with all the automation. The factory produces about 26 Urus units daily, across all shifts, a number that seems small until you realize each one is essentially a custom-built machine. The numbers that changed everything. Let's put this transformation in perspective. In 2015, when Lamborghini announced the Urus project, they employed about 1,000 people and produced around 2,500 cars annually. By 2018, with the Urus launch, they had hired 500 new permanent employees just for the SUV project. The factory footprint doubled from 861,000 to 1.7 million square feet. Production capacity expanded from under 4,000 to 8,000 vehicles annually. The logistics warehouse alone grew to 269,000 square feet, capable of storing over 14,000 pallets. The investment? Over $500 million when you account for facility construction, advanced manufacturing systems, the new paint shop, the test track, a second tri-generation power plant, and the energy hub for centralized energy production. The Italian government, through the Ministry of Economic Development and Invitalia, supported this expansion because it represented a renaissance in Italy's Terra dei Motori, land of motors, and it worked. By 2024, Lamborghini delivered 10,687 cars globally, a 6% increase over 2023 and a record in the company's 60-year history. The Urus range, with the new plug-in hybrid Urus SE, accounted for over half of those deliveries. That's more Lamborghinis produced in 1 year than were built during the entire decade of the 1990s. The environmental contradiction. Here's something that might surprise you. This factory that builds 641 horsepower SUVs and V12 supercars is completely carbon neutral. Lamborghini achieved CO2 neutral certification for the entire Sant'Agata Bolognese plant in 2015, before the Urus expansion even began. They use tri-generation power plants that produce electricity, heating, and cooling simultaneously with maximum efficiency. Solar panels cover massive sections of the roof. The Energy Hub centralizes production of all energy carriers, minimizing waste. The new paint shop uses AI, not just for color matching, but for optimizing paint application to minimize overspray and reduce volatile organic compound emissions. Carbon fiber waste from the composites facility gets recycled into other applications throughout the vehicles. Even the test track incorporates permeable surfaces that allow rainwater to naturally filter back into the ground. It's an odd contradiction, building machines designed for performance with no regard for fuel economy while simultaneously obsessing over the environmental impact of building them. But that's the tightrope luxury manufacturers walk in the 21st century. The future of Sant'Agata. The Urus transformed Lamborghini from a niche supercar maker into a legitimate high-volume luxury brand. But the factory expansion was designed with the future in mind. Those AGVs and flexible manufacturing stations, they're already being used to produce the Revuelto and the new Temerario alongside the Urus. In 2024, Lamborghini announced the Cortari investment program, another major expansion focused on electrification. The plan includes building an ad hoc research center, expanding capacity for electric vehicle production, and developing the brand's first fully electric vehicle. The Italian government is supporting this project with over $100 million in grants. The factory that doubled in size to accommodate the Urus is about to transform again. The same facility that produces naturally aspirated V12 engines screaming to 9,250 revolutions per minute will soon manufacture pure electric powertrains. The AGVs will route components for battery electric vehicles to the same stations that once installed internal combustion engines. The final assembly. At the end of the production line, after all the installation, all the testing, all the inspection, a completed Urus finally touches the ground on its own wheels for the first time. The doors shut with that satisfying thunk that only properly engineered vehicles produce. The engine bay closes. The screens light up. This is the moment where hundreds of hours of work, thousands of individual parts, and the coordinated effort of 700 employees across multiple shifts becomes one cohesive machine, a machine that weighs 4,850 pounds but accelerates like it weighs half that, a machine that stands 5 feet 4 inches tall but can corner like it's bolted to the pavement, a machine that seats 5 in air-conditioned luxury but sounds like it belongs on a racetrack, from the carbon fiber cathedral to the marriage station, from the AI-powered paint shop to the 13-surface test track, from the master engine builders to the leather specialists. Every step of this process exists to create something that transcends simple transportation. The Urus isn't just Lamborghini's answer to the SUV market, it's proof that you can scale production, embrace automation, and double output without losing the soul that makes a Lamborghini a Lamborghini. The question: so here's what I want to know. After seeing how Lamborghini transformed from producing 3,900 hand-built supercars to manufacturing 8,000 vehicles annually while maintaining that artisanal quality, do you think other luxury brands can pull off the same feat? Or is there something unique about the Italian obsession with perfection that can't be replicated? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this deep dive into automotive manufacturing as fascinating as I did, do me a favor. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next factory exploration. We're going places most people never get to see, and I want you along for the ride. Until next time, keep those engines screaming and those production lines running.